Okay, so this is a video about safety for X-Acto knives, box cutters, and scissors or anything, paper cutters, anything that cuts paper. So I highly suggest, if it can be cut with scissors, it can be cut with scissors. So if you're just cutting something like this and just want to cut it straight across, go ahead and get your scissors out. I use 3 fingers. Some people use 2 fingers. Some people use the front 2 fingers. It's whatever you want. I like 1 finger under, 3 fingers in the back, and then your thumb hole. Okay? And just like your normal scissors, make sure your fingers are out of the way so don't get them cut. And you go straight across. If you can use scissors, use scissors. Even some of the scissors will even cut cardboard. So if I set this cardboard right here, it will cut it just fine. So if you're cutting cardboard, try scissors before you try anything else. So if scissors don't work and you need to cut something really small on paper, use an X-Acto knife. So this is what an X-Acto knife looks like. Pull the lid off, and there's that. You want to make sure that you are not cutting towards your fingers. Okay, so if I'm holding the paper, I'm going to be holding here and cutting away from my hand. So I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to cut away from my hand, pressing down. Okay, notice that I am on a cutting board. Cutting boards are so that these knives don't hurt our tables, because we don't want to scratch up our tables. The only time you can use an X-Acto knife is if you have a cutting board underneath your paper. So these are nice if you want to go right on a line and get a certain, because it'll cut your paper just like that. You want to make sure that your hand stays out of the way all the time. Okay, make sure that's not just laying around, that if you're done with it, the lid goes back on, and that you hold it away from you. If you're the one that picked it up and signed it out, make sure you're the only one that uses it. Okay, the next thing is box cutter. Box cutter does not need to cut paper. You can use an X-Acto knife for that. You also don't need it this far out. When you use this, you only need a little bit out, just enough so you can cut. So about that far. Okay, it will go all the way out. You do not need for it to go all the way out, because that's how you break the blade. We just need a little bit. If you're going to use box cutters, you either need to be like on a board, or you can go and cut on the ground, on the carpet. Same thing. Do not cut towards your hand. Don't cut towards your body. Cut away. So my body's over here. I'm going to cut that way. Press down. And it makes a perfect cut. When I'm done, I don't just leave it open. I'm going to shut it, lay it down to the side. If you're the one that signed it out, you're the only one that gets to use this one. They have the numbers on the back, so I know whose is whose. Okay, when you're done, they go back and hang back up on the wall. Make sure that you are being super careful. These can cut you and harm you if you do not do them correctly. Okay, also, on this video, we're supposed to talk about paper cutters. Paper cutter you should never use unless you have permission from me to use it. But there shouldn't be one, because I cut all the paper. So, you really don't need to use our paper cutter. It is sitting out in the back of class, but you never need to use it for any reason. If something needs cut on the paper cutter, you can ask me, and I will cut it. Last thing I want to show you is if you need to cut a straight line, sometimes scissors are the easiest. Draw the line, cut it with the scissors. These are the easiest. But sometimes you need to use your X-Acto knife. So I'm going to hold my ruler just like this. I'm going to put my X-Acto knife right on it. And it cuts a straight line. Okay? That way you know it's exactly straight. So again, you have to have a cutting board if you're going to use an X-Acto knife. That way you don't cut the tables. If you cut the tables won't be any good anymore, and we'll have to buy new tables, which we can't just go out and buy new tables all the time, so we'll have to deal with crappy tables, and we don't want to do that. So those are all the safety guidelines for X-Acto knives, box cutters, scissors, and paper cutter. If you have any other questions, please ask. You need 10 points of evidence so that you watched the video. So that means name something I said, explain what I said. You have to prove using 10 points that you watched this video. Thanks.